Alola everyone, and welcome to the quarterfinals of the Metronome Tournament. Things are going to be a little bit different from any of the rounds before. From this point on, I will be commentating on all of the matches. And if all things go well in this stream, we're going to see both the quarterfinals and the semifinals. For the quarterfinals onwards, all the videos on YouTube will feature just the single battle per video. Keep the suspense going, but give the people that have made it into the top 8 their own little highlights package, their own place to shine. Focus on just them. I've already randomized where we're gonna go for all of the matches in quarterfinals, semifinals, bronze match, and even the grand final. Speaking of that bracket, here we go. We are in the quarterfinals. We're going to see ITBERYAN versus Marq to start. After that, two people that got second in their group, Casper and YOLO. So Casper, the last one remaining for the Forever Luck Discord. Dahlia, the only one that was ranked 3rd or below. That remains. Bongo's in this. And then Trevor versus Jared. For now, we're going to start with ITBERYAN versus Marq. Let's go. First, quarterfinals. ITBERYAN, second in Group F. Marq, winner from Group G. Who moves on to the top 4? If you're in the top 4, you are confirmed to get at least 3 more battles. Because you get the semifinals, and then even if you lose there, you do get the bronze match. You obviously can't be champion from that point, but you get a best 2 out of 3 there. Here we go. Pokeballs for ITBERYAN. Marq has the luxury ball. We're in Waterfall Coliseum for the last time this tournament. From this point on, whenever you see a Coliseum, that'll be the last time you see it.
The stage is set and the curtain is up.
Starting with Frostlass, who transforms into Empoleon. No ghost type anymore, but Empoleon, being a steel type, has quite a few resistances, so that can work out.
The move fails.
Head Smash would have hurt Frostlass if it was still a Frostlass. Break, that would have gone onto Spiritomb, so that doesn't work. Twitch chat has predicted that ITBERYAN will be winning this match. Alright, Flamethrower onto Empoleon. Bit of damage, we're gonna see a burn.
The situation is a bit of a stalemate. It's a mental tug of war as they anticipate each other's move.
Frostlass is not a Frostlass anymore, so they speed type the opponent's Empoleon. We saw Whirlpool, we see a Magical Leaf for a little damage.
It hits.
Ursaring, can you get a hit in now? No. No, you use Splash. The only reason Splash is good is Z Splash in Gen 7, because it ups your attack by 3 stages.
The move fails. The air in the Coliseum is tense.
So far it's only Marq's and Empoleon that's been hit. We're still waiting for that first big move. We haven't seen the turn 1 in Prison, which is happy enough, considering how many times we've seen that in... I think we saw it twice in round 1 of Top Cut, and then we saw it once in round of 16 as well. We even saw a 5-0 victory. I believe it was Thorzak that did that. A 5-0 victory in the round of 32, but is getting the turn 1 in Prison. They definitely proved how good that can be if you get that early on, and on a defensive Pokemon at that. Sandstorm. That's gonna damage Ursaring and Spiritomb. Not Frostlass, because Frostlass is no Steel type.
Multiple hits. It keeps dealing damage. Spiritomb is slowly losing its health.
Alright, Frostlass, what do you have? Holcomb. Improving some stats. That can be good.
Its stats rose. It hits.
Spiritomb with some more damage. The first actual hit, if we don't count Sandstorm.
Ursaring uses its move.
Despite being used on a Pokemon that transforms, if it would have been used on the other Empoleon, the true Frostlass, that might be a bit more useful.
A sandstorm is raging in the Colosseum.
Just based on the fact that because of Transform, they have 5 PP on all the moves. It's not an Empoleon Flare. You missed the Frostlass Transform.
Starts to attack.
Frostlass used Transform as the very first move. It became the other Empoleon. Transform takes the opponent's exact stats except for their HP, and it's likely to avoid the fact that it would then go lower and potentially just take yourself out. Full Tackle on the Faker. Both have very low health. But Marq's Empoleon with a recoil, it goes down. The score is 6-5, a lead for ITBERYAN, but Empoleon, well, Frostlass is weak. And this might be enough. Yep, both Empoleon are down. Score is tied again at 5 each. What do you got, Spiritomb? Interesting animation for Aqua Jet. Like, it doesn't feel that fast. Like, he spins faster, but it doesn't really work. Works a lot better when Buizel does it. But then again, that's probably what its animation was more made for. Alright, third Pokemon for each player. ITBERYAN has Honchkrow. Marq sends a Treshaun. Typhlosion. Another starter Pokemon on the field. Everyone now will be hit by Sandstorm, but I don't think we have that many turns of Sandstorm remaining. Yeah, very slow Aqua Jet, I agree. Honchkrow's speed isn't that big, but its physical attack is big. Transform again from that slot, and again into the starter. Alright, we have 2 Typhlosion now. What is going on? Like, Transform can be good. If you were a Pokemon with really high HP, but lower everything else, then transforming into something else can be good, because then you might actually gain stats. If you're a Pokemon with generally weak stats, let's say a Wormhole, and you transform into anything else, even if it's something slightly lower level, like a Typhlosion or an Ursaring, transforming into them probably gives you some extra stats and therefore better chances. The Sandstorm set up by Beast became its undoing. ITBERYAN leads. It's 5-4. ITBERYAN's team is enjoying cosplaying as starters. Yeah, Spiritomb is just staying Spiritomb, a Pokemon with 3 full resistances. Immunities, that's the word I was looking for. Normal and fighting due to... Oh, Ice Ball! That's big, especially if it's on something that's weak to ice. It is poisoned. I think Sandstorm will run out after this turn, so... If Honchkrow can survive for a bit, that can start dealing massive damage. If it builds up, if it stays... And if it keeps hitting, because it is 90% accurate. Smart, both aiming at the Honchkrow. So with the poison that is already on the Honchkrow, that's not going to make it to Ice Ball turn 5. But it could still deal big damage and potentially take down Tangrowth. Yeah, Yep, Sandstorm's out. There's poison 3, maybe 4 more.
Both corners still have a chance to win
turns
what kind of developments can we
just poison. Isn't Marq's team beyond this weak to ice as well? I'm not sure. Yep, it is. So that would be very bad if Honchkrow survives, but luckily Tangrowth is defensive. Tangrowth has some good defenses, so it'll take a few hits and then Typhlosion, or the Honchkrow, I mean, will be down. Unless somehow either Tangrowth or the real Typhlosion uses Present and then heals the Honchkrow. This is not going to take long. Yeah, this is 2 more poisons.
This is getting dangerous.
So which of the Typhlosion will go first this time? It's Marq's one, so if they just take a Typhlosion, that's 1 less hit of Ice Ball. That's Weather Ball on Honchkrow.
A small hit.
Not quite enough, but that does confirm that it's this turn that Honchkrow goes down. Final hit of Ice Ball. ITBERYAN still leads, so this is still a good hit. Building on that advantage, but it's still not a big one. You haven't seen any major move that greatly changes the outcome. Ice Ball definitely can Ice Ball and roll out. But thanks to the poison, it's not as bad.
It's being ganged up on.
Spiritomb has a decent chance of staying around for a while, so that Leopard Berry helps. Honchkrow's down.
Do the damage from poison.
Ties the game back up for each. Here comes Luxray, and I'm pretty sure Luxray has Intimidate. Most of the Luxray do have Intimidate. Pluck can be good, yeah, especially for Pokemon that are on the field a long time. It isn't often that a Pokemon would go to 0 PP. I did give them... I want the fights to be metronome as much as possible, and then maybe only go to struggle through things like Imprison, Taunt, Torment. But it is possible to run out of metronome if you're really defensive, if you just happen to not get hit much, if you have a bunch of resistances or immunities like Spiritomb. And then it's possible that you just run out. But that way I have the Leopard Berry, so you have another 10 potential hits. So this makes it less likely that we'll see struggle. I like in Metronome Tournaments that it just be purely Metronome and nothing else. I don't want them to struggle. See, if I could give them unlimited PP, I would do that. That's not a possibility, but I can just give them PP max, make sure they have 16, and then add a Leopard Berry to have a higher chance that they just keep using Metronome and not struggle. If struggle comes, it should be through something like Imprison. A bit more defensive for Tangrowth, but at low HP it's not going to matter as much. Slight advantage ITBERYAN. I predicted ITBERYAN to make it to the finals. And ITBERYAN is the only player in this first half of the bracket that I predicted would even be in the quarterfinals. I didn't think Marq would make it here. Like, I made an official prediction along with 6 others before Top Cut started, before the round of 32. I didn't think Marq would make it in, and I got the next quarterfinals completely wrong as well. I got the third quarterfinals wrong, and then Trevor versus Jared, I did get that one correct. Both would make it there. So for my prediction, ITBERYAN would go to the finals. And I predicted that Jared would make it to the finals as well. Keep that win streak going, and then make it a Group F rematch. ITBERYAN was second in Group F, Jared was first in that rematch in the finals. And as I was saying that, Tangrowth goes down, so there's a 4-3 lead.
Togekiss is sent out. Well, both corners still have a chance to win this.
ITBERYAN keeps taking that slight lead and building on that. About the same damage on each side right now. Woodhammer's a big one.
Solid hit.
That's some good damage. We do see a bit of recoil on Typhlosion. Twin Needle, are we going to see poison again? No. Luxray's not poisoned. If there would have been, this would have been double power facade. Spiritomb still in the field. One of ITBERYAN's lead Pokemon. Another 60 power move. Wait, when was Reflect put up? I forgot. Was Reflect put up like, around the time Ice Ball was happening? Or was that somewhere during Ice Ball? And that's why Ice Ball didn't do as much. Perish Song! That's one of the big ones. And considering the fact that ITBERYAN leads right now, if none of these 4 Pokemon KO each other before the end of Perish Song,
A small hit.
Perish Song would make it a 2v1. The Reflect happened during Ice Ball. I think you read my message as it was used. Oh, maybe that was it, yeah. Leaf Blade, Paddle Dance, and big grass moves. If a KO happens here, then it could be good on both sides. Let's say Togekiss were to go down. It could mean that ITBERYAN can then start dealing damage to Marq's final Pokemon, which is a positive for ITBERYAN. Could lower their stats with something like Leer, or Captivate, a bunch of stat-lowering things. Poison them with Poison Gas. However, at the same time, Marq could potentially increase their own stats, things like Rock Polish, Agility, Bulk Up,
Well, both corners
things like that. So the chance is better for whoever doesn't get KO'd. So let's say Togekiss were to go down, the chances is higher that that's advantageous to ITBERYAN, but it doesn't have to be. It is Metronome after all. But if we're just going to see little bits of damage, then everyone in 3 turns is going to go down. And that's going to be bad. Bad for Marq specifically. And if Typhlosion goes down, they're at really low health, and they could start damaging Marq's final Pokemon already. This is looking very good for ITBERYAN, and this is going to be the KO on Typhlosion.
Mega Kick hits hard.
4-2. Only 2 Pokemon left on Marq's side. We still have 3 group winners in the quarterfinals. Marq's one of them, and the other 2 are Trevor and Jared, who are both in the final quarterfinals. If Marq loses this, we are certain to only have 1 group winner in the semifinals. Here's Marq's final Pokemon, Marq's Ace. Red Wing the Salamence. Intimidates the opponents. Means less opportunity for ITBERYAN to start dealing damage on Salamence, but if ITBERYAN would have control over what his Pokemon aim at, then they should all aim at Salamence, whether it's the tiniest bit of damage from Constrict or the potential of a poison with Smog. Aim at Salamence because you know Togekiss will go down at the end of the next turn. At this point, things like Agility, Bulk Up are almost useless because you know you're going to go down. Luxray down.
It couldn't survive the second hit and goes
So we're going to see one of ITBERYAN's final 2 Pokemon with a turn of Perish Song still to go. Spiritomb still on the field. This will be Spiritomb's penultimate turn, because Perish Song will take it up. We will not see it get to struggle, especially after that pluck. Salamence confused. That is very good. Perish Song to 1 for Togekiss and Spiritomb. Here comes Lucario, and here's the thing as well about Marq's final Pokemon being sent out before Perish Song ended. If Salamence on Marq's side and then Lucario and Garchomp on ITBERYAN's side would have all been sent out at the same time, Salamence's Intimidate would have affected both Lucario and Garchomp. And not only was Salamence sent out before Perish Song ended, it was sent out before Lucario or Garchomp. And that means that neither is affected by Intimidate. Lucario making good use of this turn. setting up its defenses. That'll be useful. Red Wing does get Metronome going through the confusion. Hits into Lucario, which is super effective with Force Palm.
That dealt some massive damage.
We still have Togekiss and Spiritomb both in their final attack. And one of them, for one of them, it'll be the final attack of the tournament.
A clean hit.
Unless we get an extremely rare tie that cannot be decided by a tiebreaker. There's a few ways that a draw can happen that I have a tiebreaker for to decide who wins. But it should not happen. It is extremely unlikely. Togekiss down. Spiritomb down. And we enter the 2v1 scenario. Even if Salamence would have been at really high health and the other two are at low health, the other two get 2 attacks. Double the opportunity to do anything negative to Salamence. It'll be difficult for Salamence to get through, but they've already dealt some good damage to Lucario. Red Wing is still confused. Lucario has a Cosmic Power active. Is ITBERYAN going to make it? And one good ice move could finish it. Drill Peck's good damage. Remember, not intimidated because Salamence came out first. Here comes Garchomp. You can barely tell that it's shiny. Lucky Chance, making sure they cannot get hit by critical hits for a few turns. That can be nice. Still confusion. And they hit themselves, which not only deals some pretty big damage to them, considering Red Wing's high attack stat, it also just means it's one less turn of Salamence dealing damage to Garchomp or Lucario. Thank you very much, Spiritomb, for confusing Salamence. That's what ITBERYAN would say. So arm thrust, little damage, but it adds up to being more likely. Salamence goes down. ITBERYAN goes sheer cold, goes for the ice move. I'm pretty sure Lucario is higher level, so that could have actually hit. Another self-confusion hit. Lucario is 7 levels higher, so that was a 37% chance to hit. And it would have ended the battle if it did. Just over a 1 in 3 chance. But there's still a clear advantage to ITBERYAN. It could still end. In terms of the draws that that can happen, explosion, self-destruct, are ways to do that. In group stage, if explosion or self-destruct causes a draw, it's just a draw, that's it. If the fight ends in a draw due to self-destruct or explosion, in Top Cut, the user of self-destruct or explosion loses. So if Lucario or Garchomp were to explode, and everyone goes down,
Salamence desperately holds on.
Marq wins. However, if, let's say, Garchomp uses self-destruct, but Lucario survives due to its steel typing, due to its defense boosted by Cosmic Power, then they would still win. Fire Blast, that's some nice damage. Not quite done? Or seeing a burn? Or is this final bit Lucario, is this Marq knockout? It is rollout! Marq is done! ITBERYAN with Lucario and Garchomp still standing. Qualifies for the semi-finals. The Group G winner is done. Group G as a whole is done. Marq was the final one remaining. ITBERYAN moves on another round. Who will their opponent be? Well, it's either going to be the second place from Group H or the second place from Group B. It's Casper or YOLO Swag. And we'll see who it'll be in the next video. See you there.